Why do I do this to myself? I'm bored. Let's watch Jesterbell. All right, so the title of this video is Disney boycotted by modern fans after Jimmy Kimmel firing. I don't know why you're starring out Jimmy Kimmel's name. If you're talking about him, clearly you want to be in the algorithm where people are talking about Jimmy Kimmel. So starring out his name is so weird and dumb. It makes no sense. I think it's really funny that you're making this video because you're framing this like there's an issue with people boycotting stuff they don't believe in, where if you go over and you look at Jesterbell's channel, let's open it here, another tab. You made a video here. Where's it at? Right here. Goodbye, where you're talking about boycotting DC because of things that you believe in and things that you value. So in this video, if you are making fun of people for boycotting something that they believe is a problem, is an issue, which is what you should do if you live in a capitalistic system, which most of us do, the only way that companies understand the language you're speaking is by using money. That's it. They understand money. Point blank, period. So if you want to show them that you're not happy with something they're doing, you don't spend money on their products. That's how it works. So it's a little weird that you would make a video saying, oh, goodbye to DC. They're not doing what I want them to do anymore. But let's make fun of people who are boycotting Marvel and Disney for what they're doing, which, by the way, look, we're going to get into this, but I also think it's funny that these guys are doing this. Like when I say these guys, I mean like Jesterbell and Nerdrotic and stuff, considering they don't like Disney anyway. So you should be happy that fans are boycotting it, whether you like the fans or not, which is kind of weird. Anyway, let's get into this video and see what she has to say, whatever dumb shit she has to say today. Let's go.
Hello, everyone. Jesterbell is back, and I am feeling better than I have in a minute.
Well, she said she's back. You've been making tons of brain rot videos. I've seen just nonstop waterfalls of brain rot videos from your channel. So you didn't go anywhere. I don't know what that even means, but here we go.
Because today, something absolutely hilarious happened. The Disney shills, the people who Disney had been courting for years, who they overthrew their...
The Disney shills. I would say if they were shills, they would still be supporting Disney through all of this. That by definition, that's what a shill would do. A shill would still be supporting Disney through this issue with Jimmy Kimmel if they were actually shills. So by definition, as it is defined, they would not be shills. I digress. Let's continue.
Original audience for have called for a boycott against Disney. And it is really hilarious. But first, we need to set up the context of what is happening here.
I want to point out, why would it be hilarious? Why would it be hilarious that the group of people that you guys constantly talk shit about actually have standards and morals? What's funny about that? Like your community, if you are all in on something, it's hard pressed to find any sort of like criticism or boycotting or pushback from this side towards anything their group is doing. Locking people up without due process, that's absolutely fine to them. Destroying monuments to gay people, taking away protections for marginalized groups, that's absolutely fine with them. Going after women's rights, that's absolutely fine with them. There's no pushback on their side for any of the awful stuff that their people do. So when we're supporting companies like Target or Disney or whatever, and we decide that, hey, we're going to voice our opinion, we're going to push back against things we believe in, that these companies' values no longer align with, that's not hilarious. That's holding them accountable for what they're doing. Something that this side never does. They never do it.
So ABC, owned by Disney, fired Jimmy Kimmel after spreading...
Didn't fire him. Didn't fire him. His show was put on indefinite hiatus. That's not firing. That's not what happened.
This information about the last week. And this decision comes from Bob Iger himself, because they were about to be sued into oblivion. And honestly, you know, I'm not a super expert on like late night TV and all of that. From what I understand, he probably was going to get fired anyway because the ratings were not there. So
okay, that right there, I hate that shit. That has nothing to do with what happened. It doesn't matter if he was the worst show in that time slot. It doesn't matter. Does not matter. The FCC threatened, the government threatened ABC that they would pull broadcast licenses if they didn't do this. So it doesn't matter if his ratings were the best or the worst. I've seen Fox News pushing this. I've seen other channels pushing this. It is irrelevant to the conversation that we're having. If the company wanted to fire him for any reason whatsoever, they could have at any point in time. What they decided to do was indefinitely take him off the air until he apologizes to Trump and Charlie Kirk's family, I guess, donates to Turning Point USA. Very, very clear things here that align with specifically why he was in trouble. That's what it was. The ratings thing, viewership, whether he's funny or not, none of that fucking matters.
They might just be looking for an excuse at this point. Basically, he's not.
They wouldn't have to. If the ratings were bad enough, they wouldn't need an excuse because the ratings are bad. You're fucking stupid. I'm so tired of all of, like, it's so infuriating to watch channel after channel walk away from free speech because they don't want to give a W to anyone that they don't like. They don't want to say, hey, it would be in our best interest to support Jimmy in this, whether we like him or not, because newsflash, a lot of people on the more progressive side are not huge fans of Jimmy Kimmel. It would be more beneficial for us to side with him on this because in this specific issue, the government is wrong. So you would look like you're still holding consistent logic in your stance. It is illogical to side with the government on a free speech issue if you believe in free speech. It is illogical to do that. What the government is doing is literally anti-free speech. You could still hold that logic and go, hey, I don't like all of this quote unquote woke stuff, but this issue with Jimmy Kimmel, this is a problem. This is government overreach. That would be consistent in logic.
Worth the trouble. But anyway, Bob Iger himself made the decision, and the show has been pulled off air unless Jimmy Kimmel essentially posts an apology or retraction of what he said.
Which is exactly why you know it's not about ratings. You know it's not about ratings. You see what I'm saying? How fucking stupid this is? If it were about ratings, why would he have to apologize? If they were looking for an excuse to get rid of him because of his ratings, according to you and a lot of the other bigots on here, all the other bigoted channels that do this shit, if they were looking for an excuse to get rid of him, there would be no out. He would be gone and there would be no out. It would be like, oh, you said this, we're trying to get rid of him, he's gone. They wouldn't offer him an opportunity to come back if it were about the ratings.
And he's not doing that. So that's the situation. But we are not here to talk about Jimmy Kimmel. We are here to talk about the fallout from this decision. Once again, this is a decision that comes from ABC and Disney and the company.
Stop pushing that. Yes, we know that they were ultimately the ones that made that decision, but you're leaving out the fact that it was the government pushing it. You keep saying that, trying to make it reality. There's more context to it. This channel, Jesterbell's channel, should be called Jesterbell Lack of Context. There's literally no context to anything that she talks about. It is so mind-numbingly annoying and frustrating to go back to this channel when I do every 4 or 5 videos and see her still doing this.
That own them, Nexstar and Sinclair. So this is coming from the company that owns this, but this seems to have broken.
Yeah, because Nexstar and Sinclair said they refused to cover Jimmy Kimmel if the company didn't pull the show. That's important context. That is important context that you're leaving out of this.
The brains of the very same audience that Disney has gone after for years, the same shills who would have defended everything that Disney did.
Except they're not shills because they're not defending Disney in this, which means that all your accusations of these people being shills was wrong. It was wrong. You're wrong about all the fans out there who have loved Disney but are holding Disney accountable for this when the government comes in and tries to oppress free speech. That is what you call a logical, a consistency in their logic. That is the opposite of being a shill.
And called people who didn't like all of the shows that Disney was putting out and all of the messaging. That this has really changed them. And I'm starting to hear the same tune that I heard from many people over the years becoming disillusioned by Disney with what they're doing with the franchises.
No, there's a difference. See, you guys hate Disney because of dumb shit. You hate Disney because Disney likes women and they like diversity. That's dumb shit. That's brain rot. People on my side that are boycotting Disney because they bent the knee to a corrupt government, a clear free speech violation. We're upset with them because they're literally doing something fucked up. It's not about because you could easily walk away from Disney at any point from saying, oh, I don't want to see minorities in movies and TV shows. You could do that and walk away from it, but you guys don't. You've made a platform out of it. This issue we're dealing with here is bigger than Jimmy Kimmel, and it's bigger than Disney. And you guys are so stupid and locked onto your narrative that you can't understand that it is a bigger problem than just this culture war shit.
coming out of the mouths of these people. Listen to this stuff. Like, this is from Blue Sky. Every major talent network that works for ABC and Disney should refuse to show up for work until Jimmy Kimmel is reinstated.
Yes.
Marvel movies need to shut down. Oh, you agree? You agree with me?
We're not the same. We don't agree with you because we think that they're full of bad shit. We are saying this because the government is stepping in and trying to suppress free speech. That's why we're saying it. Very, very different things.
See that Marvel movies need to stop? Thank you. Here's my hand extended. I am so happy to hear that. That is what I have been saying for a while now. So welcome to the club. Thank you.
He agrees.
Ditto the sitcoms. Collective boycott. Sounds familiar? Corporations love money more than anything. Yes, yes, yes. That is what we've been telling you. This.
No, it's not. No. See, if this is why their logic isn't consistent, fam. Are we ready for this? Are we ready? Hold on, let me lower the screen down. Are we ready for this? You guys argue that it's get woke, go broke. That is your motto. You argue that companies are pushing narratives and agenda over profits and popularity. That is the argument that you guys have made. If something being woke leads to it being broke, that means they would be chasing not money, but narrative and agenda, according to these guys. So are they chasing money or are they chasing ideology? Because again, it is get woke, go broke. That is your motto for Disney and all these companies. So no, you haven't been saying that. Like, there are people in your space that are like, oh, they're virtue signaling. Yeah, except that breaks your it breaks your narrative. You cannot have an ideology that is making you go broke if your core values are just chasing money. This does line up with the fidelity of what we've been saying, is that the reason they keep doing these things is because they were making money off of them. And that's why they keep making diverse media, is because it has been more profitable for them in the long run to make diverse media. That is why they've been doing it. Our logic is still consistent because we've always stood by that. Your logic is flawed because now you're saying that all corporations care about is money and they virtue signal, but somehow it's get woke, go broke. Which one is it, fam?
Will harm them and force them to do the right thing. Well, we'll see, because other people have moved away from Disney, and in a lot of ways they haven't changed.
Well, let's take a look now and see what's happening. Did it work? Oh, yeah, it did work. It did. That's a little tiny here, but it says, Jimmy Kimmel's late night show will return to ABC's airwaves on Tuesdays, the Walt Disney Company said. So, I guess the dollar does work. I guess it does work. When public outcry comes out and money starts getting pulled away, in a real way, not just what these guys are doing, but in a real way, when the money starts getting pulled away, they end up turning tail and going back to where the money is, which is we need to bring Jimmy Kimmel back. Because guess what? Jimmy Kimmel was very popular to the progressive audience. This is very Target coded. Target had a specific shopper that came into their stores. Shoppers that did believe in diversity, equity, inclusion, accessibility, believed in all of that. And when Target said, hey, fuck that, we're not doing it anymore, they lost a big chunk of their shoppers. So when we're looking at this situation now, we know for a fact that the people that were coming to ABC for this show, the audience that was coming to watch this, turned away from it. And guess what? Conservative audiences didn't start watching ABC. And they fucked around and they found out. The fuck around was, we're going to remove Jimmy Kimmel. We're going to allow the government to come in and suppress free speech. We're going to do that, and everything's going to be fine because all of the Trumpers are going to see this as a big deal, and they're going to tune in and watch our network. The found out part was that they don't do that. That conservative people, Trump people, MAGA people don't give a fuck about anything, really. They don't. So doing this virtue signal to them didn't work. Fuck around, find out. And now Jimmy Kimmel's coming back because this is the right thing to do. Let's jump back to Jesterbell's video.
But we'll see. Another person. Boycott ABC television. Make it clear to everyone they will get the Target treatment. See ya, Hulu. Just talked with my wife. We are canceling our Disney Plus subscription. If you have one, I encourage.
You know what's funny about this is this video was made a couple days ago, and now we're seeing that this worked, and that Disney is bringing Kimmel back, that ABC is bringing Kimmel back. So this makes this video even funnier. This makes it even funnier. Now that we're looking at this at hindsight, because I guess she doesn't believe they're going to bend the knee and bring him back. And so she's making fun of a lot of these. All of this stuff that we're looking at worked. Causation, correlation. So, yeah.
Could you to do the same? What do you know? What do you know? This is what I heard from, Star Wars and Marvel nerds when they became so unhappy and disillusioned.
No, you didn't hear that. This stuff that's coming out there's no connection to the bullshit that you guys talk about in this. None whatsoever. One has an actual standard of ethics and morals. The other is brain rot.
By what the company had become, and they were made fun of. They were told, "Don't let the door hit you on the way out." Oh, you don't like the peak storytelling that Disney Plus is giving you. You racist and all those kinds of words being thrown out. I have been called all kinds of words.
Well, I mean, if you don't like something because it has black people in it, what else are we supposed to say about it? Right? It's like, oh, what is it you don't like about the Disney show? Well, it's got a black person in it. Oh. What about the quality? It'd be better if it had a white person. Oh, all right. Yeah, a white person in the lead. It'll make it better. Oh, okay. What about the music and stuff? It had hip hop music and everything. We don't really like hip hop music. It's because it's trying to cater to black people. Interesting. And any other problems with it? Yeah, there wasn't a lot of white people in the show. And so, yeah, we're not, the quality is too low. Interesting that the only problem with it is you have everything that includes it's all about black people and black culture. Interesting. So I wonder, does that make you a racist? How dare you call me that? I just don't want to watch it because it's got a lot of black stuff in it. Yeah, that tracks. Totally the same thing.
For refusing to comply with the excellence of such shows as Acolyte and Ironheart. And now, apparently...
Again, 2 shows with black leads. I didn't even know that was coming in the video. 2 shows with black leads just happen to be the 2 shows that she mentions are shit. Okay.
Apparently, it was laughable before for people to leave Disney and say that they just did not want to watch their stuff anymore. And now these people are doing the same thing. But there's even more. Look at this from Reddit, from like the X-Men subreddit. Canceled all Marvel subscriptions. I've been reading X-Men continuously for 40 plus years. Canceled all the Marvel posts today at my LCS. Sound familiar? My drop is...
So we're not going to finish the video here. I just want to say what this shows is that the audience for Marvel are all of the people that decided to boycott over this issue. All the people that decided to boycott over this are the audience that brings in money for Disney. Shocker, surprise. A lot of people like Jesterbell and a lot of these other folks here on YouTube that walked away from Disney, that walked away from Marvel, from Star Wars, whatever you want to call it, that walked away, they've not been counting your money for a while. Your money hasn't mattered to them. Your money hasn't mattered to them in a while. The money that does matter to them is the people that have been consistently supporting Disney for the last half a decade. So what this tells me here is that in this situation moving forward, this shows that stuff like this works. Pulling your money away from a company that you don't believe in ethically when it is a company that courted diversity for years. It works because now they're understanding the diversity and free speech and all of these things. These are things that their audience actually wants. And when they don't get what they want, the result is a massive loss of money, a massive boycott, a massive pushback. And it's an even bigger deal than what these guys are doing, because keep in mind, they've been doing this for like some of them for almost 10 years now. And they haven't moved the needle. Jimmy Kimmel, this issue happened last week. And then all of the people that actually supported Disney and were there for Disney decided, hey, we're going to unsubscribe from Disney Plus. We're going to cancel Hulu. We're going to cancel our theme park visits. They probably had an overload of like people canceling their vacations going into the holiday season. Big fucking problem for them. And they said, we have to do something. We can't operate like this. It's impossible. I want to talk about an inconsistency in logic over this free speech violation from channels like Nerdrotic and many of the other people in this space after the situation with Jimmy Kimmel happened, and how they could have easily had a W and really advanced their narrative on this without a lot of pushback from myself and other people. There are 3 reasons why they should have sided with Jimmy Kimmel over this versus all the other rhetoric that they have. But they decided instead to side with the government, free speech suppression, and the Christian nationalist alt-right bullshit. They decided to do that. Here are the 3 reasons why it would have been an easy W for them, and they still could have held consistent to their logic in all of this. Number 1 is the free speech angle. These guys are champions of free speech. The entire foundation, they told us their entire foundation, they told us, their entire foundation was built on the idea that jokes and comedy and free speech should be protected at all costs, no matter what. It is more important than anything else, maybe other than the Second Amendment to these guys. Free speech, free speech, free speech. They were against cancel culture. They were against all of these things. However, in this instance, they decided that in a clear case of free speech suppression, a violation of the First Amendment's rights, they decided to go against it. It would have been more consistently logical for them to go, hey, we have supported people like Gina Carano in the past through the same fucking company, Disney. We supported her through this. And now we have another person where the company is coming in and telling them, you're going to be put on a hiatus, your show's going to be off the air for a while until you do what we tell you to do. It would have been more logically consistent for them to do that if their actual foundation were free speech and anti-cancel culture. That would have been the logical position. And I would have had nothing to say about it. I wouldn't have talked about these videos. I wouldn't have talked about them. It would have been a logical consistency. The second one is big government and government overreach into people's lives. That's another thing that these channels have really championed, is that the government has too much power, too much control, and they want smaller government. Smaller government doesn't look like the president telling the head of the FCC to go after an individual comedian and then force the companies to bend the knee and take that person off the air. That's literally not smaller government. That is massive government overreach. So not only is it a free speech violation, but it's also the government stepping in and doing something they shouldn't be doing in the first place. So again, another W from them. They could have taken that stance and been like, you know what? The government is doing too much. We need to be logically consistent, ethically consistent. And so we're going to speak out against it. But they didn't. Second time, they could have had a W with no pushback from myself or any other channel. And the last one, the third one, is Disney virtue signals, and Disney is a bad company. Taking the side of Jimmy Kimmel in this case, taking the side of everyone else that was speaking out against this, would have been a chance for them to align values, like Jesterbell was trying to do, align values against Disney and push back with a massive boycott, and possibly pulled in more people into their space, like pulled more people over to their channel by doing that. If they would have said, hey, your eyes are open, welcome to the community, we're going to join you in talking about how bad Disney is for getting rid of Jimmy Kimmel because we hate Disney, corporations are bad, they suck, fuck them. They could have jumped on that bad bandwagon, and we would have had nothing to say about that in terms of like them saying that the company was wrong for doing this, and this just proves a virtue signal. Because guess what? I probably would have agreed with them on that. I would have been like, yeah, if they don't bring Jimmy Kimmel back, bullshit, right? So those are 3 W's that these guys could have had that they walked away from and chose to side with MAGA, Trump, and alt-right white nationalist rhetoric. They chose to do that. That broke their logical consistency. So now moving forward, anytime they talk about free speech, we can just refer to this and say, this was a clear free speech violation. And it might even go further than this. We know that Jimmy was talking to lawyers. It might even go further than this. We don't know what it looks like when he comes back on Tuesday. We don't know what that's going to look like. However, as a free speech violation in this situation, these guys have broke their logical consistency. When it comes to cancel culture, they have broke their logical consistency. When it comes to Disney being evil and we should all band together against Disney, they broke their logical consistency. So the sandcastle now is crumbling for them. This reeks of desperation, and they made the wrong turn. They could have made the right turn, but they didn't. They made the wrong turn, and they broke logical consistency. These guys, and this goes out to anybody out there that supports these channels, still watching these channels, these guys stand for nothing. They've taken you for a ride. They put you in the passenger seat. Matter of fact, they might have even put you in the back and said, hey, just jump in the back. You don't even get the auxiliary cable. You don't even get the Bluetooth to play music. You got to sit in the back and ride with us, right? They put you in the back of their car, their truck, and they took you for a ride, and you've been on that ride ever since. And now you're seeing that all the stuff they told you champions of free speech. Disney is evil. Side with the people over Disney. Corporations are evil. The government shouldn't be in our day-to-day lives. They shouldn't be pushing things in our lives. The woke agenda, all the stuff the government is doing in schools, they shouldn't be doing that. They took you for a ride. And now, if you're a viewer of theirs, this is your choice logically, right? You can stick with them and continue down this illogical, bigoted road they're heading down, which is clear based on this. It's clear based on this. Or you could think for a second and go, you know what? It's logically inconsistent to say that you're a champion of all of these things they've stood for, and then you stand for absolutely nothing. You stand for nothing. You guys have to make that choice. The choice would be easy for me. And it was for a lot of people. As we saw in the beginning of this video, it was easy for a lot of people. Once Disney bended the knee as a company to the government on a free speech violation, the people that were still fans of Disney said, fuck that. We're walking away from it. Money spoke. Disney saw the writing on the wall. They didn't want to be Target. So they've decided to bring Jimmy Kimmel back. These were decisions they made behind the scenes because of what's going on. That's how you know this is bullshit. This movement is bullshit. It has never, ever moved the needle for Disney. It's never moved the needle for Disney. But guess what happens when people who actually were paying for Disney products decide not to spend money on them? This happens.